You're listening to the Public Health Entrepreneurs Podcast with your host, Dr. Charlotte Huntley. I have so much to tell you about. I have some personal updates, some exciting news about my book that's coming up, and a face-to-face conversation that I had with Kamala Harris that I can't wait to tell you about. Welcome to Public Health Entrepreneurs. On this episode, we're going to do something a little different. I'm your host, Dr. Charlotte Huntley, and I think it's time for me to reintroduce myself. And this is something that I teach on this podcast all the time, making sure that your network and community clearly understand what you do, who you serve, so that you're attracting the right clients to you and your network is really clear on the opportunity, right? So I'm going to practice what I preach. Whether you found this podcast last week or today and you're listening for the very first time, or you've been listening from the beginning, I do think it's worth pausing every now and then and just reminding you of who I am, what I do, and why I show up every Thursday on this podcast. I recently wrapped up a month of traveling, reflection, intentional slowing down. And it was space to breathe, to reset, and to remember who I am outside of the work. Now, I'd love to say I completely unplugged from work for that entire 3-week period of time, but I did not have that luxury. However, I did have the luxury or the privilege of being able to take work with me to integrate the things I needed to do, leverage my team back home so that I really spent the majority of that time doing exactly what I described, reflecting, really slowing down. So there's just so much that emerged from that. I want to start with who I am. I'm an epidemiologist and an entrepreneur. In my day-to-day work, I show up as a public health consultant, a podcast host, and now an author. My consulting firm, Dr. C.H. Huntley, LLC, partners with large nonprofit organizations and tribal nations on strategic planning and implementation. In plain terms, I help organizations make sense of their health data, communicate it clearly, and put their plans into action in ways that lead to real impact in the communities that they serve. I've also been podcasting since 2017. My first show, Public Health Epidemiology Conversations, or PHEC, publishes every single Tuesday, and we've been doing that since 2017. And it serves public health professionals at every career stage. The show also has its own private paid membership community with its own app, the PHEC podcast community, where the conversation continues beyond the episodes. Over the years, PHEC covered a wide range of topics, and entrepreneurship was always a part of that mix. The conversations about building a consulting practice or launching a business kept growing. Questions got deeper. The audience for that work became clear, and it became really obvious to me that entrepreneurship deserved its own dedicated space. So since 2024, I launched Public Health Entrepreneurs, this podcast, and the business, its own podcast and coaching all wrapped up together so that I can support entrepreneurs on that journey and people that were really interested in a deep dive in its own designated place. And that's exactly where you are right now. So Public Health Entrepreneurs is built for health professionals who have accomplished their multiple fields because you often overlap multiple industries and you all come with such a diverse and integrated skill set and your rich expertise to this field. So those of you have this deep understanding of your expertise. It's just that the business side of it is new to you. And you don't have to figure all of that out alone. You just have to be curious about what you're building and that you're building something, what it could look like, and being willing to do the work to get there. In today's episode, I'm going to go a little bit deeper on several things that I touched on very early on. I like to start with kind of move into a few personal updates for you. Now, on a personal note, I want to share a little bit more about who I am beyond this work because I think that really matters. It's important for you to get to know me beyond this businesswoman. I am a grandmother. I have 2 grandchildren, Jason and Kiana, who bring me so much joy. I can't even put it into words. Jason will be 5 this summer and Kiana will be 3, and they're everything. They are the light of this family. My husband and I have a blended family of really 5 children that we have raised between the 2 of us. And at home, we have also, in addition to our grandchildren that spend a lot of time here, we have 2 doodles. We have Max and Taz, who are about 2.5 years old now. And they make sure that I never take myself too seriously. I'm also navigating grief. In 2023, my husband and I both lost our mothers. And in 2024, we lost our son. He was the youngest of our blended family. It was in a motorcycle accident. I carry all 3 of them, both my mother, my mother-in-law, and my bonus son, into everything that I do every day. And I mention this not for sympathy, but because we don't really pause for grief in our careers or businesses or even on our calendars. And I think we need to normalize integrating that in. It's not a thing you set aside and then you do something else. It's there. It doesn't go away. You don't just get over it and check the box. It becomes how you do life and you do it differently. So just holding space to be able to just acknowledge that, to speak to that, I believe is really important. So you'll hear me mention that from time to time. Like I said, it's ongoing, it's not linear, and it absolutely coexists with me doing meaningful work in the world. I really find ways to bring that into the motivation of everything that I do. I write about it in my book, and I'll continue to be open about it because I know that I'm not the only one carrying something heavy while still showing up every day. Now, let me tell you a bit about my book. I am genuinely excited about this book. It has been quite a journey. But the book is The Public Health Consultant: Expertise, Entrepreneurship, Greater Impact. It's coming December 15th of 2026, and it is published by Johns Hopkins University Press. This book is for all of you listening. It encourages you to explore what's possible when public health expertise meets entrepreneurship, and how to lead in a way that is innovative, community-centered, and built for real impact. I wrote it for the person who knows their field deeply and is ready to do more with it in innovative ways and taking a different approach. I'll be sharing updates about my book on this podcast as we get closer to the release date, and I would love for you to be a part of that journey. Now, I also mentioned to you Kamala Harris in a conversation that I had with her. Let me tell you a little bit about that. It was really encouraging experience. I had a face-to-face conversation with Kamala Harris, not virtual, but face-to-face, and I didn't expect it to go the way that it did. She asked me about my book. What is it about? And when I explained it to her, she told me that it is so important and it's going to help so many people. She was genuinely excited about the concept. She definitely understands public health. I know that entrepreneurship is important to her. She really did get it right away. She poured into me the significance of this work and what it means in this moment. And I sat with that whole experience. Of course, I was really giddy and starstruck and in awe, but it was in that moment, I was just really on. I was just I'm very passionate about what I do. And when I get to talk to somebody who understands it, it's a moment to really lean into that passion for the work and community impact. So after that experience, I sat with everything she said and the whole experience of getting to meet with her and take pictures, because we're all aware of public health and that it's being dismantled right now. People outside of our industry know that. What they're not hearing enough of is what we're doing in response and how we are rebuilding, and the amazing people who are consulting and walking this entrepreneurial path. So to hear her reflect that back as something that she was excited to see and hear about and how important it is, that was genuinely encouraging for me. And I hope it is for you as you hear this, as you think about, if you're already on this path or if you're considering this path, I hope that brings you a bit of encouragement as well. She encouraged me to be vocal and to be present and to go all out with this book so that it reaches the people who need it. And I'm taking that seriously. So everything that I've mentioned to you, I will make sure that there are links in the show notes for this episode at publichealthentrepreneurs.com. If you'd like to link to my business, my consulting business, and scroll through that, you're welcome to. If you'd like to explore that podcast, you're welcome to. And if you have heard of that podcast, and some people were just like not clear on the two different podcasts, which is why I'm being very clear, explore each in both and find if you like some of those episodes and some of those interviews and people that I chat with there, plug in there. If this is where you need to be, plug in here. But I want to make sure that everyone understands the differences and what's available. Before we go, if you're not already subscribed to Public Health Entrepreneurs, that's our podcast newsletter. If you're not getting regular emails from me, now is a great time to do that. Just head over to publichealthentrepreneurs.com, subscribe to receive updates, make sure that you're on that list and that you're keeping an eye on your inbox, because I often will reach out through email to update you on things that don't quite make the podcast. So make sure that you're connected and on this journey for all the updates. And this is the next several months, I think will be a very exciting time. We have so much coming and I want all of you to be a part of that. All right, everyone. Until next time, have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you for listening. Visit publichealthentrepreneurs.com to learn more.